we are, me and my wife, Nadia Lipis, and my name is Alex Lipis. We are professional researchers in Jewish genealogy research during the last 10 years. And during the last 5 years, we're doing the special project for us. We're doing the overall database of all Jewish family names could be found in every Jewish-related documentation in Ukrainian archives. So we're working not only in the Ukrainian archives, but also in Belarus, and also in Lithuania, sometimes in Poland, and sometimes in Russia too. So we're collecting as much more information we could find to build our own database, and we will talk today a little bit in the end of the speech to show you more what we have. So today our speech is calling From Census Tales 1795 to Ship Manifest 1922, Your Family History for Ukrainian Archives. But we thought it could be more easy to do it in the wrong way. So we will start from the manifest, from the documentation you can find easily in the United States, I mean in internet or websites or in some archives, and how to trace it back in history deeper, deeper and deeper. And I have a question for you. Do everybody know who's Dustin Hoffman? Yes. Great. Do anybody see his story? I have a bad news for you. They did a little bit mistakes. Yes. So when it was half a year ago, something like that, right? So in March, in the end of March, something like that. So we saw that show, and we saw that there are not little mistakes. There are huge mistakes there.
I mean, it's all the story is fake.
Yeah. Yeah. So we believe.
He really was from Bela Cerkov. That's it.
Yes, and we tried just to make a little bit research, just nobody pay for us for it. Just try to research to trace it back. That's his Hoffman roots. He doesn't know. Do anybody know his telephone number? No. Okay. So, and today we present how to trace back your family history through the Dustin Hoffman history. Let's start.
Actually, I'm not looking for US TV normally. I mean, I had no idea about this thing, but after this movie, people start to write me. And Ukrainian journalists started to write me as well. And I was sitting in Israel, and I have no time to go to anywhere. I used just my database. And from Israel, I already knew that all the story is fake, actually. And I just came back to Kiev and took his original documents. And here I have people that saw them already. And we are trying to talk with with Dustin Hoffman and this guy who was a speaker there. But as far as I know, we don't have any results right now. But yes, Professor Gates, but you can hear the story, actually. And I started to work with the document from the same thing that they had from US databases. So I will not talk a lot about that because it's not so important. I just saying that it was a start. So you know all these documents, censuses, passports, it's his documents from the movie. I mean, I didn't take them from the movie, I take them from a family storage database, of course. Which could be very useful when you are searching United States documents, but it's not helpful when you are trying to find Ukrainian story or Russian story or whatever, not a United States story. No, so it's enough.
So you see here the name of Frank, you know that his grandfather, right?
Yes. So they originally they had two problems. First, they didn't know that Frank and Froim, it's actually the same name. And the biggest mistake was that and nobody actually realized that when he's saying that his father's name was Sam, in Yiddish version it's Sain, but it's Nissan. And it's very uncommon shortening of this name. Very specific thing. I was surprised as well when I found it, but I saw the documents, so.
Okay,
So the best way to find somebody, especially from Белая Церковь, is to search our database of census 1897. Alex would have a speech about this census on Thursday, so I am not going to talk a lot about that. But it was the first document that I found about him. That's what I'm saying, that when I'm saying that I found his documents when I was in Israel even, not in Kiev. So you can see the page of the census. It's Alter family, I mean not related from another side. And the last boy who is written here, it's Goichman Froim Sanev. So exactly his grandfather Frank. How do we know that? Because the correct information that they were using in this program was the story about his mother. I mean, she wasn't in the prison never, and she didn't left their hand and so on, but she really was Liba Michaileva Kogan originally. So that's why we found them. Because you see on the same page, I don't know how many of you can read Russian, but you can see there that the second line, normally it's a wife. And wife here is Liba Michaileva. And this Liba Michaileva has son Goichman Ephraim Sanev, and he's there 14 years old. So second problem to these searchers was that the Frank was using 4 different years of his year of birth from unknown reason. In any document he has a different age. In United States, even in United States, in 3 censuses, he has 3 different ages. So they were looking for somebody who was born at 1880. And there is no Белая Церковь birth records for this year. And the archives, when even journalists were trying to find something, said that the data is not available, we don't have any documents about this year, so sorry, we can't help. What I'm doing in such cases, I'm not looking for an age, I'm just looking all books that available. And his birth was found as well. So we was quite sure that it's a correct person. And it's correct family, and in these documents we can see even his Liba father's family as well, because all of them are living in the same house. Actually, that's why we know that Kagan Michael and Liba Michaileva Alter are relatives. So let's go forward. I just gave an example how easy to make mistakes if you are basing only on American documents and don't have access for Ukrainian documents. I mean, his birth records, of course, it was impossible to search from Israel. I came physically to Kiev Central Archive, took the books, and found. And actually, the director of archives was in shock as well, because she started to say, but they told us that he was born at 80. I said, so what? But we see that he was born in 83. She said, yes, but how? I said, I mean, I'm searching documents that are available, that's it. So we are going back to the story, you remember. So first, like Ukrainian census that we have, I mean, first closer to United States documents that you already have here is census of 1897. Before, in Kiev gubernia, we have census 1875. And the Kogan father's family was found there as well. So that's why Dustin Hoffman originally have all his family story back to 1880, because there is many documents available about Белая Церковь, and he is lucky guy. Problem is that originally the family is not from Белая Церковь, not his father's side, not his mother's side. But this middle census, I had a couple of articles already about this census, was very nice because they were writing people that lived in a new place, and they were showing there that they are registered in another place. So we know from this census that father of Frank Hoffman's mother was a former soldier. So of course we know that he came from another place. And on the next house, his brother, just according to the names, is living, and this father has already like normal registration. I mean, he was from Tarasha, for example. And when we are comparing former soldiers and people with the same family name and the same father's name, we can quite be sure that they are like brothers. And we can go back to another cities and another censuses. And it's really important to know registration place, because without it we can't search documents before. And even you know that, as he knows maybe, that the parents lived from Belaya Tserkov, and for example census is not available. I mean, these two censuses are not available, and only one document, as for all Volhynia we don't have such documents about Volhynia, we don't have such documents about Podolia. We have them only about Kiev gubernia. So if you need to trace somebody in these regions, you have only censuses 1858 and before. So if you don't know your parents, your ancestors' names on these years, you don't know who is really your ancestor. It's first. And second, you could never find it, just because maybe they already lived in this place in this year, but because they were registered in another place, they are not listed in this city. And that's it. I mean, people living and nobody knows that they're living there. So this is census that I'm saying, that mostly available for all Ukrainian cities. Census 1858, census is 1850. They're most popular, they're most available. I believe that half of you already worked with this document, so it's like a normal census record. I mean, regular. I mean, usual. I mean, and only people that are parts of this city are listed there. I mean, if somebody is living in this city, but he was registered in another place, he would be not there.
So I don't know if you have in the United States such a system about registration. You know, the person should be registered on its place. You know. You don't have. Okay, so in the former Soviet Union, we still have the same system. It came from the Russian Empire system. So each person, each Jew, of course, should have the exact place of registration. You could not live without that. And the biggest problem was that before 1897, all the census recorded consisted from the records of the persons of the place of their registration. Is it understandable? Okay, great. So because sometimes it's very hard to explain people. So even if you know that your ancestors lived, for example, in Belaya Tserkov, right? And you know that this whole history, it doesn't mean that they are registered there. And that's why it's very important to...
This person could be found in the census 97, in the census 75, but would be never found in census 58, just because his registration place was different.
Why would someone's registration place be different?
Because as his ancestors, for example, they lived in Belaya Tserkov, but to change registration place was cost money. It's first. And second thing, Jewish community, needed to agree to take this person. Why? Because they were paying tax for each person. And they didn't want to take people without money because they knew that they don't have money to pay tax. This is one reason. Second reason, in the big cities, as Kiev, for example, was never, it was Jewish community before 1827. And after that, Jews were deported from Kiev. And even after that, when it was possible for Jews, for soldiers, for doctors, for engineers, for important people like father of Golda Meir, for example, they knew something. It was allowed to Jews to come there, but they couldn't be registered there. And even very rich people that was Americans of different cities wanted to go to the army in Kiev. I saw such files. the government was saying, no, you need to make your services on the place of your registration. And it was impossible to change it. I mean, if we are talking about Kiev. But in the rest of the cities, it was just a reason that they didn't have money, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, such things we have in a couple of cities. I have some families already, I found, that they're changing their registration place without one day visiting this place that we're changing. Especially in Odessa, it's very often happens when they're coming as Austrian citizens. After that, they are Moldavian citizens. After that, they are Kherson citizens. In the end, maybe they're already ready to be Odessa citizens. But during like 50 years of metric books, the same family is changing their registration place for different places without living in Odessa for a couple of days. Just documents. And it's not only for Odessa. I saw it in Priluki. I saw it in Sumy. I saw it already in some places. I mean that even if you know registration place of your ancestors, it's not mean that for sure he would be found, and you need to be ready for that.
Yeah, just a few questions and we will proceed. Yeah.
No, these documents that I'm saying, that it's only Kiev gubernia. I mean, Census 58, like last one, this page, it's available for all Russian Empire, include Bessarabia, include Moldova, include whatever else. It was general. But again, if person lived in Kishinev, but he was a citizen of Argeev, for example, he would be not found there. And you will never know, because the census was in 58, for example. He could change his registration place at 60, but still it was done, and if you don't know where he lived before, it would be impossible to find him.
Yeah. And just to remind you, a few words, every single document that you see right now, we are digitalizing it. So we are literally retyping every single family name and doing our own database to quick search. So even if you do not exactly know the place of their registration, place of their living, it's very possible to find them. That's why we're doing it for the last 5 years.
Actually, especially because of it, I found documents about Hoffman family, and nobody else know. Just because for me it was cost nothing to check it. And for them, they needed to go to the archive and to take like 50 cases, 50 files, without any thought that it would be successful. You understand what I mean? That there is a difference. One thing is to check something for a couple of minutes and go to the archive, to send husband to the archive, to take this file and to open this page, or to take like 50 cases and look all the pages. It's a big deal. It's for a couple of months.
And just a few words about that kind of census. You see, that's a lot of information here, including the place of registration, including the family name, personal name, patronymic name, all the son's name and the age and so on, and also the year if the person had already died. This is the year of his death.
So, all previous documents was regular documents, nothing special. Most of you saw them already, and so it wasn't so unique. And now we are starting to talk about unique documents. Together with Jewish personal names, we are making database of Jewish documents. Because most of Ukrainian, not only Ukrainian archives, unfortunately, have no idea what does they have. And, for example, in Kiev archive, we have Gubernia Fond. It's 400 and...
Okay, so today we investigate how to explain you what does it mean fund, because we've been a few days ago, we've been in New York City, in Eva archive, and we've been in such, the storage rooms, and started to talk with the person who's doing the indexing of some collections. He doesn't understand what does it mean fund. Yeah?
And he's native Russian speaker.
And he's native Russian speaker. He doesn't understand what does it mean fund. So now we know how to explain it. When we say fund, archive fund, that means archive collection. So, for example, some gubernia, when we say gubernia fund, we mean the collection of documentation related to all the gubernia things that happened during the 100 years, because all that stuff was sent to the center of a gubernia to be preserved for years, you know.
So in this collection, we have 404 index books, and each index is something like more than 1,000 cases, and half of these documents normally about Jews. Some of them are personal files, and we will talk about it later, and some of them censuses, the same kind of censuses, but different years, and nobody knows that they exist. For example, maybe some of you knows that it was forbidden for Jews to live in villages from the year 1882. And all of them needed to go out. Only if they had special rights to live there, if they have been Americans, doctors, or lived there many years before, it was allowed to stay. And the document that you can see here is a page from such kind of census. Jews that were moved, that needed to go out from Tarasha area. And why these documents could be very important? Because not all the uyezd cities has censuses, metrics, anything. And for example, Tarasha and Stavishe area is very poor. There is no documents. But they have such kind of censuses. And if family lived in village, you are lucky. Just because, sure, this family could be found. And it looks like, you see... Нет, вернись назад. Нет. Леша.
Что?
Это не то.
А что?
Вот это.
Okay. We're sorry for Russian.
So you see that here could be found the person, his wife and his children, and reason why he stayed there and what kind of documents he has. And when you see red thing here, you see there is two colors. One is black and one is red. Black color is what originally was written, and red color is in use. And very often we can find there's like that family moved to United States, for example, or family moved to another city, or whatever else. It could be, or new people, or new children were born, or somebody will die. I mean, sometimes we have full family story on one such page.
Yeah, like a Twitter page, something like that.
So another very interesting type of census documents is documents about poor people. So you should poor, no money. Welfare.
Huh?
Welfare. How does it call people that's taking money from the government? Welfare? Yeah. Welfare. So this is a census of people who have a welfare for their local Jewish community. And each year, in most of the communities, process was like that. So government were taking tax. And after that, Jews started to write letters like, we're very poor, we need money, we need to buy something. Please give us option to use this money for community life. And they were making lists of people, as you see here. And these people were getting money from the government, like back from the tax back. And here you can find, as you see again, full family. I mean, with ages. I mean, normal census. And these documents are later than 1858. And that means that if you don't have so old family story that is giving you an option to search without these documents is very helpful because you can make a bridge between information that you know or you got from American documents and to the censuses is for 1858, which is available for most of the cities. And here there is a new thing from all other censuses. This census has profession.
So, for example, this person is a shoemaker and this person is a musician. And if they are poor, then they need money from government. For some reasons.
Because they're poor.
Yeah.
Very clear.
What is the official name of this type of document? What is it called?
This document, for example, called list of poor people of Stavisha, for example, because this is Stavisha actually. And for example, this type of documents is again about Stavisha because it's about the same family actually that I was searching for. This is old army census. It's 1834. And again, there is no information about Stavisha. I mean, general. If you will use Miriam Weiner website, you'll find nothing about the city. But here we already saw 3 different types of documents about this city. We were searching for Pugach family, and this family was found. I mean, it was traced till the beginning of the century. But army census has only one problem, it doesn't have women at all. And also you need to know that it's impossible to find woman maiden name at any documents. They never use it. I mean, very rare in metric books, in the birth, rabbis were using it, they were writing, but it could be one person for like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Is this the Cyrillic script?
Yeah, about yes, this is the Cyrillic, and it's very important to understand that even the Russian-speaking native person could usually could not read it. So even if you hire not a professional guy for something, yeah, sometimes it's very usual that he will make mistakes. Even we're doing mistakes because sometimes some people who did these records, they're not so well educated, and they skipped the letters. They wrote wrong letters. Sometimes that's why it was another family started to begin another family name, because in official documentation it was written like that. You know, for example, the father has one family name. For example, I don't know, Rudnitsky. Yeah, for example, Rudnitsky, and the person who did the record, he just misspelled some letter, and his son, for example, not Rudnitsky, but Rodnitsky. And it started a new branch of the family, you know? It's very important because a lot of time we had a lot of clients who said, oh, if you found me Rudnitsky, my family name is Rodnitsky, yeah? If you find the Rudnitsky, it's not mine at all. And we started to explain them that no, because in the earlier documentation it was only one family name. For example, our family name, Lipes, sometimes it was Lips, sometimes it was Lipis, sometimes it was Lipes. But it's the same family name.
I'm still trying to remind that this is my lecture, and his one would be in Tuesday. So now we are moving from full family censuses for personal information censuses that sometimes could be full family information as well. So this is a general metric book from Kiev archive. Actually, this is a metric of Dustin Hoffman grandfather. So it's look like that. I believe that most of you already saw such kind of documents. Normally it have 2 sides, Russian one and Yiddish one. So that's it. And this is, for example, metrics from Vinica archive. You see, here we don't have Yiddish part. Sometimes we don't have Russian part. So again, if you're hiring somebody who can't read Yiddish, your relative would be never found. But normally we have more only Russian records than only Hebrew records. So you see, like all these documents from different archives and different cities looks like quite the same because they had the same standards. And this is just in case Russian document. This is a document from ZAGS. I mean,
Official Registration Office.
like, you see, the same kind of information. And with Russian Jews was, these ones that stayed in Soviet Union and immigrated later. When they were Bolsheviks, for example, they were changing their family names for their, nicknames. And after marriage, as you see, I don't know how many again from you can read Cyrillics. Cyrillic. But you see that we have a girl, Faraonova Manya, and she has father Ervits and mother Faraonova. Faraonova is fake name, it's this nickname. And still they are giving to the child this nickname from not clear reason, but they decided that to be Faraonova is better than to be Ervits. And it was at 28 only. Before Holocaust and all stuff like that. So, is metrics like it's clear, nothing special. And this is much more interesting documents because again, nobody knows about that just because nobody is working with these forms because we are making this database something like 3 years and it's not finished yet. And we already have something like 200,000 names. So this is a document actually again related to Hoffman family, true story, about his real father. You see how many pages? And this is, unfortunately, from this document we can know only his personal story and how he was changing the names, place of birth and so on, his father. But we don't know his full family information. We know only something about him. But this something, it's like if you're saying that the matrix is 3 branches, so such kind of stories is
Leaves, like leaves.
Like leaves. So it's giving pride to your family story. It's always interesting to know something personal about something than just dates and names and that's it.
Расскажу про это.
Про какой?
Про это. So a little bit more about this documentation. It's I think it's very, very unique documentation. So, for example, the father of Froim Hoffman, whose name was Sam in a TV show, actually he was not Sam but Sany. Sany, it means Nissan. And they were married just for 2 years with the mother of Frank, and something happened after that. For how we know, in the Gubernia Fund there are this small case about the chief of the army Kazakhstan, yeah, and Turkmenistan. You know where is Turkmenistan? He is writing the letter to the Gubernia to some jail court to find some property of that Jew, Nissan Hoffman. Why? Because in 2 years after the birth of Frank, yeah, he became the soldier in the army in the Turkmenistan, a lot of miles away from Ukraine, and he did something. We don't know what. It doesn't describe here. Not in any description. But he did something, and it was like court needs some money from him, a big sum of money, and they tried to find his property in the Gubernia to sell it and to send it to the army. You understand what I mean?
And the case name is very funny. It's like that we are searching for somebody whose name is Benjamin Grinspund. On the same time, he is Sanya Haimov Goffman. They already knew that it was one person instead of 2 family names. And what we knew from this case, that nobody killed him in 1920 when Frank came to save his life, and somebody killed him as well. That's it. It was the start of all this story. So another document which can be very helpful is a document about choosing occupation. That when I told that people were needed sometimes to change registration place, it's the same if you don't have information about census and you don't know. Such kind of document could be very helpful, because in this gubernia fund, the government were writing that this person was related to Skvira community, and from this day it's related to Bela Cerkev community, for example. And in such kind of documents, you can find all family information. Because when they want to get some new registration place because of some relative already have this registration place, they were starting to send copies of Census Tales, metric books, and you can find in such kind of documents all family story, in fact. You see how many pages they have, and this is very soon. You see, this is a copy of census, and nobody knew that it is inside. This Hoffman, it was again Hoffman families, but another Hoffmans, because I was trying to understand what documents are related, what documents are not related. But I'm collecting new different types of documents, so that's why I'm making copies about not client-related documents as well, just to show to people what could be found in such kind of fonts. You see, metrics, new censuses, some documents from different government organization, from the army, whatever. Sometimes it could be 50 pages about one family. And sometimes it could be 2 pages. That family moved from one place to another place, and that's it. You never know what will be found inside. And this is the documents, again, from the same government archive about changing birth date. Because sometimes names, family names, dates of birth were written incorrectly. And when people needed to get passports, they were trying to get the documents from the government organizations, and they were saying, but you are not listed in our censuses. And they were, again, writing letters, bringing metric copies, bringing people that, and these people were saying that, no, we know this family, they really lived here, and so on. And it looked like jail again. Like people are going to the court, and
judge.
And judge is asking who you are, la la la, and who can tell that this is you, and so on. And again, we have many pages about one person and the correct dates of birth of his children, and so on. Another type of document is university student files. So if your relatives were studying in Russian university, you are very lucky. You have a lot of information about his family. You know how he studied. You know his school records. You know who was his parents. And in the end of the story, you know even how does he looks like. You see? Picture.
So this is like a student file in university, Now I think the same. You have a picture and you have all the information.
But you never think that in the old Russian archive you can find the picture of your grandfather who died 100 years ago. Because these files in Kiev University, for example, starting from 1875. I mean, very old documents. And maybe it would be only one document of your grandfather's that you have. Another nice documents, as usual, it's army documents, because government always wanted people to go to the army. And they were listed each year. They were checking people alive, people are not alive, who born new, what is his health, how he's doing, and so on. And of course, all his family members were listed here as well. Why? Because in some cases, people were not going to the army because of family situation. If he was only one son, or his parents were very old, or his sisters were ill, or whatever else. So army documents are normally very useful. If your grandparents were not at university, maybe they have been at school.
Probably.
Probably. And if so, you can find the personal file as well. And it will be no pictures, but it could be different information, include his metric and his parents' name and so on. And not always, correct names of your grandparents. For example, this person is Russian. He immigrated from Odessa like only 25 years ago, so he quite understands Russian. He know about all his grandparents and so on. And when he gave me started information, he said that his grandfather was Weinstein Moisei Georgievich, and his father was Abram. I said, excuse me, how is possible? He was Georgievich and his father was Abram. He said, I don't know, this is memorials of my grandmother. And we started to think how it could be. And he said, no, I'm sure that he was Grigory. We need to search for Girsh. I said, okay, but why he was son of Abram? You is writing to me, not me. And he said, I don't know. Maybe his grandfather was Abram or something like that. And only because of these documents, I found that his father was Abram, of course, and not Georgi. He just decided after 20 years in Soviet Union that Georgi is better than Abram. Actually, I don't see a big difference. And another important thing that we got from here is his correct birthday from Odessa rabbinical books, and it was already more easy to open specific page and find specific birth certificate than to read all huge books of 4,000 children born in specific year in Odessa. And sometimes if you have nothing, we still have bank documents, for example. As right now, all of us are going to die, but our credits will alive many years after us. The same thing was like 100 years ago. People were taking credits to buy property, to buy land, to buy different things. And I can't tell that you can find many family information from these documents. But you can find information regarding what property your family had, how they paid for it, if they finished to pay or bond take it back, or sometimes Jews were buying houses together with somebody else. And maybe this somebody else was your relative that you didn't know about it before, and there is a sense maybe to make DNA tests with somebody from the same family name and to check if you are relatives or not. It could be helpful as well.
Давай скажу про базу, и ты можешь сказать, я скажу про погромы. Okay. In general, we have finished all what we have. I know it's very fast, you need to understand what you saw just now, but the main question right now, who actually knows that his ancestors are from Kiev gubernia? Okay, I just speak, let me speak only one person.
Not those that already was my clients, you already have this information.
Yes. Выбери. Okay, once again, who's from Kiev gubernia?
Just...
Выбери кого-нибудь. Или choose. Okay. Кого?
Give me, what city? Бердичев. Amazing.
Да. This is our laptop, so with our database. So, okay, that's just an experiment. So we will try to find right now the ancestors in our database of that woman. And Nadia will search it. What's the family name? Chernorutsky. Okay. And while Nadia is searching, I will try to explain you another project. So just a few months ago, we have founded a new charity organization in Ukraine. It's called Institute of National Jewish History. And we have little more projects about that. And the main project by now, so 3 years ago in Salt Lake City, I told about that we want to start it. We want to collect every single record of the Jewish pogroms in 1970, 1921 in all the Ukraine, all the victims, I mean all the killed persons, all the injured persons, all the listed persons. And we have started our website. I Do you have internet here, right? Great. Что? Ну, подожди 2 секунды. Yes. Yes, she already had it, but I'll try to show you. So it's just a mock-up. We just started it just a week ago, the website.
So because these censuses, they are not full, unfortunately, as well. But I did an article about Berdichev census of 97, and according to a householder list, I can tell that only 25% of Berdichev people are listed there. And the same thing is in other big cities like Skvira, Uman, and so on. So this is only one database, and if you can go back to Census 75 and to make a search in this Gubernia phone database, maybe will be found other people. And I think that there is, because we have only 2 young people here, they wasn't originally from Berdichev. So originally they came from somewhere else. Even they born in Berdichev, but it's not mean that their parents were born there as well. This database is not available online. This database was done by us, and this is our work of 5 years. I mean, if we are talking only about 97. But sometimes we are making small databases regarding independent cities, and KLA links town leaders can ask for it, and we can do it easily. I mean, we have most of Kyiv gubernia already done. Odessa area is finished. I mean, we don't have the database done, but we have all the documents. So the search in Odessa could be done very easy, very quickly, and we can make even a couple of experiments. Somebody can arrange from me something today, and on the next lecture, the work would be done. For example.
How about Kamenets-Podolsk?
The Kamenets-Podolsk, as you know, was destroyed by fire in 2003. They moved documents in Khmelnytsky. They don't want to work with it. I mean, Ukrainian SIG has most important census from there. It's Army Census 1875. Some of them was translated as far as I know. Some of them are waiting in line, or I don't know what's going on with them. But these documents are should be searchable through this system. I mean, Jewish Gen system. Yekaterinoslav, all metric books. From we have here a woman that grandparents died in Yekaterinoslav, and family lived there during 10 years only because of the First World War. And her grandfather's matrix was found. Even her grandmother matrix of death from Zaks was found as well. And Zaporozhye doesn't have many documents. I mean, because but Zaporozhye could be found also in Kirovograd. Not because it's the same area, just because people from from Kirovograd area were moving to Zaporozhye to work as well, because Zaporozhye and all this east area was quite new. I mean, if somebody was born in Zaporozhye, that means that his parents definitely came from other place. And it was not so far before your ancestor was born. Most of the documents that are available about Volyn gubernia, if we are not talking about Zhytomyr and we are not talking about Chudnov, it's... Volochevsk, it could be only small additional censuses, and that's it. If you are not talking about Volochinsk in Belorussia. Because sometimes we have double names like Gorodische and Gorodnya. It could be in 10 places. Yes, and second one is near Grodno, and it's definitely the same name. Yeah. No, first of all, it's far away one from other one, because Nikolaev, it's Kherson, it's close to Kherson, and Rovno, it's close to Galicia. Not yet. They should have students' records, as I told you, but have you searched it in, because they have, Odessa Archive has indexes online available.
But you don't have it.
I can have it, but I don't feel that I need it. I mean, all these things that I'm doing, no, all these things, you should understand that all things that I'm doing, I'm making from clients' money. I mean, last years, we came only for 2 days just because we don't have money to pay for 5. Because we are buying documents all the time and nobody helps us. That's why I can't buy. Even I can buy it, but I don't have money for it. It's more important for me to buy metric books and census books because it's more people there. And also about Odessa, you should to remember that this archive would be closed very soon because they don't have a building anymore. You didn't heard about that? Odessa, what I have here, people from family tree, family search, and they know that I'm not lying. Brodsky Synagogue was Odessa archive last 50 years. The situation in this building is horrible. I mean, it's hard to move there just because they have holes inside the floor. It's big one. I mean, not easy even to go up to the second floor. And Odessa Jewish community always wanted to get this building back. Because of Ukrainian law, actually. They needed to give this building like many years ago back. And only now, when actually it's impossible to work in this place anymore just because it's a dangerous situation, Odessa government decided to give this building back to Jewish community. It's quite clear. But what does it mean? That means that archive should move to another building. First of all, they don't have any building right now. And second one, even if they will have it, they would need time to prepare the building, to move the documents, and so on. So this means that this archive would be closed at least for 1 year. As we have closing collections very often as well, because somebody is trying to digitalize it and do nothing, in fact, or because they decided that these documents are, as in Zhytomyr archive last year, it's impossible to get records from there, because for any Jewish document, they're saying that the document is in bad condition and it's forbidden to give it. That's it.
Yes.
First of all, we're not from Russia. First of all, we're from Ukraine.
And second one, Ukraine has war with Russia and they don't have money to put something online. Some archives are trying to put at least indexes online to make life of searchers more easy.
There's no group for...
No. It's just the will of each director in archives. So one director of the archive as the owner, the situation is not like in the United States. There is no any one rule for all the archives. Each archive is a separate organization, and each chief of the archive, it's like Tsar. Like a king. Some of them wants to do something more, wants to digitalize documentation, wants to work and so on. Some of them not. And you never know what will be. For example, Kyiv State Archive now on vacation. When we come back in September to that archive, I don't know if it will be working. I don't know. Nobody knows it. Even the workers in that archive do not know. For example, 2 years ago, the population, the Russian census population 1897 was closed for a year, just for a reason. I don't know, they just would want to check something, and they closed all the collection for the research, and that's it. And this is the horrible situation in Ukraine right now.
Right now we have just Ukraine, but we created organization actually because of pogroms at first. And second, because we wanted to collect all Jewish available documents. And we gave the name of organization like Jewish Institute of Jewish Memory, just because in Ukraine they have Institute of National Memory, they mean Ukrainian, and we did opposite of it, just because of situations that happened now with nationalism and Bandera memory and all stuff like that. And they were trying to take the documents about pogroms and about the behavior of OUN in the Holocaust time and so on. And we need to quickly to save something that is available right now, because they have full access for all these documents and we don't. For me, for example, as private person, it was impossible. So that's why I built the organization. I don't know when I will be deported from Ukraine. Because of it, I'm not joking. I mean, I'm ready for this. But before it, I will try to do as much as I can. And I have normal Ukrainians in archives. I mean, my colleagues like me, and they're sending me all information about available documents. They're trying to make pictures and so on. So we are trying, I mean, normal people trying to work with each other, and even if I will be deported, somebody would be work under my name, something like that.
Me.
Right now we have separate databases related to separate archive or related to separate census type. Just because in Census 97 we have like 4,000 files, and Excel, which we're using now, it's hard to use. It's first. Second reason for using separate databases is family names like Katz. How do you say, how many Katz or Kagan or whatever we have even in one census? And it's impossible to search for all available documents. But once we are going to make a full database for all, because really, if I'm not looking, if I'm not finding person in one place, of course I'm started to search for him in another place. And even in my database, I'm searching for it like 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, and so on. I'm finding it in the end of the story in some other place, of course. But it takes time even like that. But we don't have any choice because of this short family names that just...
Okay. Thank you so much for coming. And we...